If you take the top of a bottle of a perfume and leave the open bottle on a table, you will soon start to smell the perfume. The molecules of perfume evaporate from the bottle and spread out through the air until they reach your nose. What causes this to happen? The answer depends on the fact that molecules in a liquid or gas are in a state of random motion. If there are different concentrations of a substance in two locations, over time the molecules of the substance will tend to move from one place to where they are more concentrated. In this example, the bottle to a region where they are less concentrated, the air near your nose. This process is called diffusion, or in simple words, movement of molecules from a higher concentration towards the lower concentration down the concentration gradient is called diffusion. It is fundamental to acknowledge that diffusion only occurs in gas. A special case of diffusion involving the movement of water molecules is called osmosis. Osmosis takes place when a partially permeable membrane separates two solutions that have different concentrations of solutes. The membrane allows small molecules, in this case water, to pass through it, but it restricts the movement of larger molecules. Or the definition is the same of the diffusion, that osmosis is the movement of molecules from a higher concentration towards the lower concentration down the concentration gradient. It is important to acknowledge that osmosis only occurs in a liquid. Diffusion and osmosis are both passive processes, which means that they happen because of the kinetic energy of the molecules. They do not require an external source of energy. Both rely on molecules diffusing down a concentration gradient. However, sometimes in cells, molecules or ions have to be accumulated inside the cell when there is little of that substance present outside. This process works against a concentration gradient and needs an external source of energy. It happens by a mechanism called active transport. Or in simple words, active transport is the movement of molecules from a lower concentration to higher concentration against the concentration gradient. In active transport, the cell uses energy from cell respiration to transport molecules or ions against the concentration gradient. This is similar to the way that moving water up hills requires an external supply of energy, for example, by using a pump. The energy is supplied in the form of chemical adenosine triphosphate or ATP. There are various factors that can affect the rate of diffusion, as the steeper the gradient, the faster will be the rate of diffusion. Temperature is directly proportional to diffusion. The higher the temperature, the faster will be the rate of diffusion. The smaller the molecules, the faster will be the rate of diffusion. As we have already understood that the smaller the molecules means the smaller size of molecules will allow are permitted to pass through the partially permeable membrane. Large surface area, so there will be more diffusion occurs.